Hey guys, welcome back. Seth Estrada here. Really appreciate you being subscribed to the channel. You're the reason I make this media. In this episode, I have with me Dino from Digit Spin Crypto, and we talk informally about 5 or so of our top picks for cryptocurrencies. Now, no, we're not talking to you about some random obscure coin that you've never heard of. No, we're not trying to shill some DeFi scam or thing that we're involved in that we think is gonna pump because we got in earlier. We're pretty much just talking about fundamentals and coins that we believe in based on our experience doing proof of work mining and now tracking the performance over quite a while. Couple of years, few years in some cases. If that's your thing, if you like watching content that has to do with coins that are transforming the world, but not just a flash in the pan, not fly by night, then you're gonna love this episode. Thank you so much. Watch it all the way to the end. Be sure to subscribe, not just to my channel, but also to Dino's, and enjoy.
The ever effervescent, the bubbling, the overflowing with optimism, enthusiasm, and a really nice straw hat. Dino from Digit Spin Crypto. Dino, how are you, brother?
Very good, very good. Yeah, as you said, I'm Dino. I'm from Digit Spin Crypto, one of the smaller YouTube channels, but still educational and fun. And in my intro, I have an intro song, and it's a goofy guy in a straw hat type of thing. So, but I have a lot of fun. You'll usually find me laughing most of the time, but it's entertaining at least.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you made some time, man, because we've been talking on Telegram the last few days, and even though in the extended bear market, that's got a lot to keep from crying, and everyone's laughing. Hopefully, some people are laughing all the way to the bank with their fundamental analysis picks. Some people think they're laughing all the way to the bank with DeFi. I think we've got some picks that we just want to talk about just informally, not because we're trying to pump anything, not because we're trying to show anything, and not because we're trying to hopefully yield farm something. But some projects that actually merit attention, right? Like, because they've done good work.
Yeah, you call it yield farm. I call it sucker farming. That stuff makes me crazy. And we're going to get to those coins, but that stuff gets me crazy. There's one thing, you create a project and it's going to do this. And there's a purpose for it. And there's a general, people invest in it. Now, the thing may collapse. It may go belly up. And I'm not talking about outright scams. I'm talking about a project that tried to do something, no matter how crazy a concept it is. And people invest, and people lose money and all that other type of stuff. When you have things like YAM, it really bugs me because it doesn't do anything. Its only purpose is the guys who get in first, shill it to the guys who get in last, and then they bail out on them. And then it just rebases back down and resets the Ponzi scheme over. There's no product out of it. There's nothing but farming suckers. And it gets me crazy. It's not a DeFi. What DeFi product is there? Yield farming. There's nothing that it does to generate yield except for shilling it to somebody, some gullible sucker, to put money into it and then leave them with the bag empty. That's how I see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm all wrong, but it really... I see no value in this stuff. I don't see it as DeFi as far as things like the YAM and some of these other rebasing elastic coins. So it's upsetting to me.
I think you characterized it really, really well. And I think that's the problem right now with DeFi in general. A lot of people are they're coming into it thinking, well, I'm going to find a gem. And you dive into the documentation on several projects. It's not the only one that I've heard described that way, Dino. Some of the others also, they do this really weird rebase and they do their own internal corrections, basically, where they leave a lot of people out in the cold. And then there are a few people who they know how to read these little DeFi micro internal markets. And I mean, they're making out great, right? They're making out just fine. Apparently new millionaires are being made right now, but at what cost, right?
Well, it comes on the back of literally, I don't understand how it could be any different than BitConnect. The only way that the price goes up is to get more people to throw money into it. And that's with every coin. But the coin doesn't do anything. There's no product coming out of it. It's just to make the price go up and bail out. And so, that's how I see it. And that's some of them. There are some really good DeFi products out there. And I feel like we're looking at 2017 all over. People are just throwing money at these things like crazy. it's shocking. We wonder why Ethereum is at the price that it is.
Oh yeah,
everybody's grabbing these coins.
I'll just say from the perspective of a miner, Ethereum being the price that it is, and gas fees and network fees being high, it's a GPU miner's dream come true, because they're saying, all right, things are profitable again. I can turn on my rigs, even with bad cost of power. You can be in a state like California and still make money. It's unreal. So
I got everything. I got 1050s running. I'm running 1050s and they're making me money.
That's awesome. So, I'll put disclosure, by the way. At this moment, we have, I just realized we have to disclose. We are in the middle of an equipment deal that we haven't transacted any kind of like coins or anything speculatively. I don't have any sponsors that I need to disclose right now. I don't know if you do, but it's, for the audience, just to know, Dino and I, we have done business before. That has happened. And it's related to proof of work and mining and stuff. But we don't have ongoing business interests, and we're not interested in like selling a product to anybody in the audience right now. So
that's correct. And I have never been paid by anybody yet. I haven't been lucky enough to even get a sponsorship. So no, when a coin wants to come on, if I don't think it's an outright joke, I just let them come on and tell everybody about it. I don't even charge, so I don't do that. So I probably would run like 15-second ads, So, but I think that would be a good idea. But I haven't done that. And then of course I have the digitspincrypto.com website, which is I don't know if you pull it up. It's kind of sort of like a CMC site. It gives you pricing and all that other good stuff. I'm going to bring it up here. Hopefully it doesn't cover your face, but if it does, I'll move it to the other screen. There it goes. It fell behind. Okay. So I'm going to bring that up. So digitspincrypto.com. And of course it's not something that makes me really any money or anything. It's just for the community and for people to be able to have another place to go. What I did is I added the real-time trading. So you get the real-time charts out of trading view. And then I got the coin list, and that's giving you real-time goodies. And then I bring in the news from Cointelegraph and Bitcoin.com. And you got to let me put your show in the crypto YouTube shows up at the top, so I can put your show in there. Oh. I got people that, I'm going to have to add you there. You can grab a graphic from you so I can put you in there. So that's just something fun. Just something fun I built on the side.
Very, very cool. Well, would you mind doing a screen share within Zoom right now? I mean, you should be able to, I think.
Oh, I can screen share.
Or, I can pull it up. Let me go pull it up.
It'd be easier if my system, if I do that, I'm going to lose you.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up.
So you got all this here. So you got your coin list up at the top in the menu. The real-time charts gives you, so you can get real-time stuff just like in TradingView. Obviously your exchanges, your win lose. The news is the telephone, and then if you pick the crypto YouTube shows, you'll see. And folks have been asking me to put their show on there, so that's why I want to get your show on there. You get Crypto Beast and a few of the other guys, and a little blurb so people can go right to the shows that they like.
Nice.
It's just a little fun, something for the community. That's all. I have these little ads up at the top for referrals and things like that, but it's not like you make anything on that. It's just, it's for fun, just like my show.
This is really cool, man. I mean, seriously, it's really, really useful. That's the most important thing is with the website. If there's not useful information there, then, people will stop by and be like, that was nice. And now I'm going to bounce. But having the little TA charts right there, is the default there. It looks like it's 1 day. That's helpful. Honestly, people who are like trying to trade 1 minute charts, I don't know what you're doing with your life if you have that kind of time.
I don't have the time to do that. I'm more of a holder. I mine these coins and I just kind of sock them away. And then I don't have time to sit there every day. I actually got a job I got to go to. So I can't sit there and monitor everything. So I just, over a week or two, if something, goes crazy, maybe I'll trade a few of them out and try to get back some of my investment and put it into something else or freeze it, pin it in a stable coin. But that's about it. But let's take a look at these here. Is there anything on here that you like as far as coins?
Oh, wow. Gosh, so yeah, on this one, yeah, people who are tuning in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's a top 5 video." No, guys, it's not one of those top 5 videos. It's a little less formal. We're not gonna throw this at you fast and furious. But some of the projects that I like that are in the top of the market cap, I'm really big on privacy coins. Big time. So
Really?
yes, big time. I love Monero. In fact, if I had to break it down, I think my portfolio is like 40% Monero right now, which is, what it is.
That's $100.
Well, yeah, but it's Satoshi value went up. That's what I'm going to say. It's trading really strong against Bitcoin right now. So, and in the last day, it's up almost 10% against Bitcoin in a day.
Yeah, 9.92. I'm looking right at my screen there, your screen.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's right. It's right there. Well, that's its dollar value that's gone up. I think that's not 24-hour change. I want to say it's going to be its dollar value, but it's trading value against Bitcoin. It's gained Satoshi value against Bitcoin. So its dollar value's up. But if I were to do a trade today with Monero against Bitcoin, I'd have more Bitcoin than before, even if Bitcoin's price goes down. So I'm pretty excited about that because Monero it's there in top 20 as a privacy coin that's private by default. So I also accept it in my online store. And when I do occasional hardware deals too, the buyers or the suppliers that I represent, rather the sellers and the suppliers that I represent, they're always happy to accept Monero.
Sure. It's kind of the standard. And are you not concerned about it being delisted on some of these exchanges? They're starting to slowly acquiesce to the government, worried about regulation, and they're starting to pull it at us. So you ever going to be worried about having a bag that you can't actually convert into? You can sell it into other things, but obviously that would affect the price.
It might, it might in the future, but at the same time, it hasn't yet. And it's still in the top 20 for a reason. So, it hasn't yet. Still tradable on a lot of exchanges, some of the mainstream exchanges, and then some exchanges that are a little less mainstream, which are frankly some of the exchanges that I prefer or that I frequent a little bit more. The mainstream exchanges, Binance's, and the others, I don't mind them, but I'm kind of the opinion that if we don't have cryptocurrencies that can behave by default like cash, then I'm not comfortable with us moving towards a digital dollar until the governments are okay with digital dollars that behave like digital cash, right? Where once it's left my hand over to yours, then the person that you spend it with, they don't know that I ever had it.
Right. I agree with you 100%. I just hope that it works out for Monero. And I know there was Loki's out there too. That's based on the same blockchain as Monero. Originally it was a fork. I know they've modified it a lot. That was kind of an interesting project at one time, but I don't know if it's in the top 100 or not, but they were one that I had followed. I actually mined some of it originally when it came out.
I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. Because that is a great play. I'm sure that's turned out well.
Not too bad. Taking a look at these here. You keeping some Cardano?
Cardano, no, not today, but I am considering it as they near the mainnet, right? So mainnet launch and getting some of the smart contracts, specifically a couple of platforms that they're working on. If that does go live, then you'd be crazy not to have, I think, some Cardano. But
yeah, I have a little bit put it to the side just in case. And I was looking, I saw Polkadot. I was on Binance and I saw Polkadot got listed a few hours before I was on. I was looking at it and it's like 1 billion coins. It was selling at 2 something a coin, 275. So you're looking at $2.75 billion. And so you go down the chart and that puts it at number 13 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I wonder if that price is too high at the moment.
Could be. Yeah, there's always that listing pump, right? When it gets onto exchange and people get really excited and some people oversell and others overbuy and it goes out of whack. That that makes sense. Well, let's maybe do this. Let's jump back just a little bit. And I threw out that what I like from what you have listed here on Digit Spin Crypto, and I love the breakdown here. I mentioned that I really like Monero. I'm really curious. Are there any privacy projects, Dino, that you're into that you think are a safe bet and you're not worried about being delisted?
Yeah, there are. And can we go with pseudo private, or it has to be totally private?
Pseudo private works.
All right. Well, like I was saying, I do like the Loki project. I don't know where they'll end up, but they're doing a lot of really good stuff with the project. So if you like that, you can get into it. Obviously, even I think was the Litecoin's going to add Mimblewimble to their environment pretty soon. But so if you take a look at the forked versions of Monero, the Monero code base seems to be pretty solid, and there's only a few projects that did follow that. And I think it was Darrow. You had, like I said, Loki, and there were Electronium started off with Monero. Now they went a different direction. I happen to like Electronium, even though they started off with that, because they've built an amazing infrastructure and an ecosystem. But they've modified the privacy. So some of the privacy has been taken out, but it still keeps the security of seeing what's in the other person's wallets. And so it's like half of it's been stripped out. There's no mixing ring and anything like that anymore.
Yeah.
But I happen to like that particular project a lot. The cool thing they did about it is that they actually set up they call it a proof of responsibility, but they actually have permissioned nodes, and they let colleges and NGOs mine the blockchain. And so there's maybe 50 nodes on the thing, and the thing's really like lightning fast. And then they keep a monitor on it, but you have to have a key to obviously mine. But it uses like the electricity of one house, for the entire network. So there's some clever stuff there. Which ones are you, besides Monero, what else would you go for?
Wow. So right now, some coins that I actually hold at the moment, Ravencoin, and I've stuck with Ravencoin, especially when they got hacked and there was an asset issuance and asset printing problem. And largely because it's like, you buy the rumor, you sell the news, right? The news was that we were hacked, and that might have been an okay time for me to sell some of it, but the rumors were, and I went out of my way to go interview Tron Black, their lead developer. The rumors were they were developing something that would assist specifically with creating the kinds of digital assets that could be traded among qualified investors, which just didn't really exist in the same way before, not without using tools like Ethereum and ERC20 and ERC721 and ERC777. There are a couple different classifications of tokens that can be issued on Ethereum. And then it requires a programming team to create a whole platform surrounding those tokens. With Ravencoin, you burn 500 coins, you have the asset in the native wallet client.
I like it. I like it. I agree with it. Now, I don't believe Ravencoin though is a privacy coin.
They're not.
But I've been mining Ravencoin from the very beginning, and when it first came out, and scooped up quite a bit. But they built that specifically though to be in the protocol has actually got functionality to handle security assets and for voting and other things. It's a phenomenal project. My only concern with Raven was it does amazing stuff, especially if you're going to start offering stocks on the blockchain, basically a crypto security asset. But my concern is it being so full open. Say Coca-Cola wants to convert their stuff and put it on Ravencoin, and so they can send out voting. They know exactly how many shares. I can buy a share of Coca-Cola. I can buy a half a share or a quarter or a tenth of a share. But the problem lies, would they use Ravencoin where they copy the code and just reinstall it and call it the Coca-Cola blockchain, because everything's there already for them to use it. And so that always kind of worried me if it's going to actually be used. But until they start, until somebody puts their foot in the water and puts their toe in the water and starts to say, hey, we want to create a security token or security coin. I was hoping Coinbase would be the first to do that. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
Have you created any a class of asset yet?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I burned way more than I should have, right? Because I burned them when they were cheap. So, and I made a bunch of assets early on. And then I, totally experienced regret later on, thinking like, oh my gosh, how many thousands of these coins did I burn? Like for no reason, because it was 500 coins a pop. Right. And I definitely have some assets on Ravencoin that I wish I could unburn. But at the same time, to your point, that's one of the reasons that people say that they don't want to do commerce with Bitcoin, is that there's not a heavy emphasis on security. And even with Litecoin right now, until Mimblewimble is installed, it makes it really difficult for businesses to accept certain cryptocurrencies, knowing that you lose your competitive advantage when your competitors can check out the blockchain and know how much you have in your wallet.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting back to with Electroneum. They kept that in there, which was smart. So you can do business with governments and other companies. I felt bad when I sold my Ravencoin. I think it was at like 4.8 cents, but I'm looking at the price now. I'm really excited I sold it then.
Right.
Not all of it, but I sold a big chunk.
Right. Well, and to your point, like when I saw that Ravencoin hit its Satoshi value, right? Its value against Bitcoin right now. So I don't actually see the Satoshi value breakdown on this calculator, but what I'm going to do for just a quick moment, and we'll jump back here. I'm going to open up CoinGecko just so we can see the Satoshi value of Ravencoin. And there was a point at which I was considering it and considering selling at least, some of my Ravencoin holdings, because right there, see right now It's trading at 204 Satoshis. It hit 1,000 Satoshis at its all-time high. And even though the price was not super impressive, it was at 1,000 Satoshis. So literally 5x what it is right now. And if I had sold and just held the Bitcoin, I would have been up 5x. So absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, with Ravencoin, to your point, one thing that they can potentially do, and I think this is just brilliant. I talked to this with Crypto Rich when we did an episode the other day. And They can add a little bit of privacy on the wallet client, or they can create a third party, or they can use a third party privacy solution or an anonymity solution like CoinJoin, because they are a UTXO based blockchain. Just, fancy dumb way of saying it's like Bitcoin, right? So it functions a lot like Bitcoin in terms of its transactions. It's not a wallet pair, key pair based wallet system like Ethereum. Though frankly, even Ethereum has a way to tumble coins now, and it's actually really, really good with Tornado Cash. So you can take something even like USDC or Tether, and you can make it like cash if you tumble it. So you just have to make sure you're working with institutions that don't kick you out when you do that. Right. I think Ravencoin might be able to do that. They might be able to create an anonymizing layer and have that be implemented at a certain point, so that in the future it can be adopted by certain institutions, certain players. I think like a lot of blockchains right now, I think the biggest problem they have is more widespread adoption for lower level use cases, like just cash, right? Or just commerce. So it's a bit tricky. It is kind of a chicken egg problem. Like, who's going to use anonymity? Does it need to be like cash for, to please guys like me, right? Because I want something like Monero for commerce. Do they have to do that first, or do they just need more people using it now while it's not exactly the Wild West, but it's still kind of like the Wild West for online purchases and stuff? There aren't that many people who are out there, the IRS and the FBI aren't trying to track every single transaction and say, well, we know that was for, whatever, the cup of coffee that you had in Japan with Roger Ver. So you're busted. Like, there's kind of a balance. And I don't know exactly what that balance is for regulatory bodies. So with Ravencoin, maybe they can correct I still think they've got legs, personally.
Right. Yeah, no, I've believed in the project from the beginning. I'm just going to hang in there and see how it does. I've even kept my Neo tokens. Tell me I'm crazy or what?
Wow. Well, here's the thing though. Neo was supposed to be the future. It was such a promising platform. Like the tech is good.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
held on to it and I bought some extras when it was like $2. It's like $18 right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's gone up. It's been shooting up since China said that they're going to start to use Neo as part of their centralized banking money. The price has been kind of just edging up because it used to be like $50, and then when during the low days, I think I picked it up for a couple bucks.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a great one then. So if that's going to have to make it into the list. I mean, Neo, if you acquired at $2, obviously no one's asking you how much you bought or whatever, or the percentage of your portfolio. But if you bought it at $2 and you're at 18 now, shoot, that's great.
It's just one of those things. I just always thought that I got the Neo and I got some Elastos. I really think Elastos may have an opportunity. So one day, I like what they're trying to do. I just don't know if they'll get the traction, but an operating system based on blockchain, I think it's pretty spectacular. So we'll see how they end up doing. Yeah. Tell me you've got Link in your pocket, don't you?
I don't. I don't
either.
I know. I legitimately don't. I've got 0% of my portfolio in Link, and this is the show where basically I admit to your followers and mine that I'm an absolute dunce. I just did not pick up any Link at any point.
No, I didn't either. And you know what? I don't like chasing when things are going. I'm like, all right, it's got to fall back at some point. But I'm like, gee whiz, look at the damn thing. It's way up there. Number 5. How's that even possible?
Yeah, but, I'm with you. I'm in disbelief. And I want to see where it corrects to before I even try to evaluate.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I was getting back to these infrastructure ones, these Polkadot, these EOS, Waves, nulls, all that stuff. You're doing anything with that? I'm a believer in Ethereum. It just seems to be the cash cow or the mainstay or the first mover advantage guy. I don't think you can go wrong with it. But it was interesting to me that I don't remember his name, but one of the guys from Ethereum went and wrote the Polkadot or headed it up. And that it already has sharding built into it and scalability into it, along with these side chains. They have a particular name for it, but it's a plug-in side chain. So if you create a project and a contract, you can plug in your own chain and it interacts with the main one. So all these extra chains can be built into it to allow for immense scalability. It sounds fantastic, and I see every YouTuber talking about it. So I did grab a couple, but I was concerned that the price to me seemed like it would be a bit high at the moment, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think all indications are, I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share on my side. All indications right now, just based on the guys and gals that do technical analysis, and I trust a few people in the space, but I don't pretend to know technical analysis myself. I don't pretend that the market's going to do anything that I expect, but I do trust a few people in the space, and all indications are there's not a whole lot of resistance moving upwards with Ethereum right now. Like, it's not that it's like a rocket ship either, but there's not a lot of resistance at the moment. And coming from proof of work and kind of believing in proof of work and seeing what's already built on Ethereum, not just the first mover advantage, but the fact that there are functioning products right now, and some of the other top 10s, Link, right? Chainlink being a really big one, it's 100% reliant on Ethereum. If Ethereum fails, Chainlink isn't even a thing, right? So there's a lot of faith placed in Ethereum right now, whether people know it or not. USDC, USDT, the trading pairs that everybody uses to peg their trades runs on Ethereum. It has to work. So So yeah, there are these really people, whether people know it or not, they're long on Ethereum. And even hardcore Bitcoin maximalists who are trading with Tether, they don't even know it, but they're long on Ethereum by the virtue of the fact that they're using Tether. So
and all these DeFi contracts, oh, Ethereum.
yeah. So yeah, for me, that's kind of where my focus is at the moment. But again, you know, proof of work guy and big time GPU believer. I even hear rumors now of people saying, well, there are going to be FPGAs that perform really well on Ethereum. And I think, okay, I've just got to keep the blinders on. I can't worry about what FPGAs will do 8 months from now, because that's in crypto terms. That's an eternity. Who cares? I mean,
yeah.
And in a regulatory environment too, like the IRS last year said, like, okay, tell us whether or not you dealt with digital currencies or anything else. If you traded or bought any this time next year, who knows what they'll say? They might just say, you know, whatever. And it's 2020, man. I mean, UFOs are real this year. A vaccine apparently is going to happen for a global pandemic. All the stuff that we never could have foreseen 8 months ago. Not exactly, right? 8 months ago. That was a long time. 8 months from now, they could be announcing UBI, and they could be asking like, hey, if you have any digital currencies, will you redeem them at 100x for UBI or whatever in a credit for some new means of production of something that the United States is uniquely qualified to provide the rest of the world. Please be a part of our new economy. Like, we don't know. Nothing's off the table in my mind right now. Anything can happen. So for you to tell me, no, an FPGA is coming out in about 8 months, it's gonna do Ethereum even better than GPUs, I'm like, I can't even worry about that. Aliens became real. The Navy admitted it. They showed us their footage. Like 8 months from now, like I can't be bothered. So
yeah, I can imagine. You're still mining and everything, right? Because I remember that used to be your whole show. Obviously, mind your biz.
Yeah,
you're still big for you.
I am. In fact, I'm surrounded by boxes right now with some ASICs. I know my viewers are going to be like, "Oh, ASICs, hiss, boo!" But I'm surrounded by some ASICs for a very unique little project. I'm not going to name names on that one, because there is a selfish advantage too. If you're not mining Ethereum, there's an advantage you get by being selfish about the coins that you mine, and kind of, you know, mind your biz. It's a double entendre too, right? I'm into mining, but I'm also into privacy. Right? Like, so, but I'm surrounded by ASICs right now.
Cool.
Got GPUs over there, and yeah, FPGAs. I almost went down that path and then realized for me that'd just be a huge mistake. Almost every YouTuber that's gotten into FPGAs who wasn't also a programmer, they've regretted it. So,
yeah, and that's doing a stream is not something simple. Not your average programmer can even do. Yeah. These are specialists that kind of get involved with these companies and know the insides and outs of the products to create these streams, and complicated stuff. I wouldn't even touch it either. And the thing is, a lot of them they'll sit on those things for a while before they even give them out, and they'll, like you said, I like my privacy. I'm going to mine these coins. Excuse me. I got some stuff to do over here.
Yeah. Well, and that's just the white paper from Satoshi. He kind of made it clear that that's part of the tokenomics of Bitcoin originally, was that if you had a lot to contribute, if you had at that time, right, a laptop or more than a laptop, maybe you had a gaming desktop, maybe you had a couple of gaming desktops that had one really powerful CPU. And then with ArtForce on Bitcoin Talk, you know, Satoshi basically kind of gave up when he saw that GPUs were about to hit the network. In a way, yeah. Like if you count the number of posts that Satoshi did him, herself, whomever, on Bitcoin Talk from the date that GPUs went live on Bitcoin to when Satoshi basically retired, it wasn't that long. Just kind of like, okay, yeah. I'm out of here. This is not as interesting now. But
it's getting too expensive now.
Right. I'm going to take my however many billion coins. Yeah. Million coins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So
that's a killer.
But it's in the white paper. Like, so proof of work is meant to be competitive, highly competitive. And if you have an advantage within all these forked coins of just saying, well, I see a project that I have faith in, like I don't have to talk about it to secure the network. And if I'm a good actor, if I'm not trying to 51% the network, 51% attack the network, it doesn't matter that I have 51% of the hash rate or more. If I'm not trying to rewrite the chain, if I know I'm a good actor, then I don't have to tell anyone.
No. It kind of reminds me of the ETH enlargement pill.
Right. Which, by the way, was actually created by a developer that goes by the handle Bird. I should probably have him on at some point. Yeah. But
now it's kind of standard stuff to use to get some excitement on it. Hey, let's give me some long shots. Give me a long shot coin that happened to come across your eyes.
Oh man, long shot coins. I think one of the best long shot coins that I've had on recently. It's not really a long shot. I wouldn't characterize it as a long shot, but that's because in the mining scene, a lot of miners they look for stuff like this. They can mine early on, but it was a fairly launched proof of work coin, and it's now proof of work, proof of stake hybrid. It's called Zano, ZANO. It's not that new. It's not the newest coin, but I think a lot of viewers will not have heard of it, and it is quite good. Quite good in that it's designed to have smart contracts enabled, but it very much conforms to the open source ethos. It's just a little bit different. It's a bit of a change candidate. Frankly, I think it's probably going to be a bit of a competitor to Electroneum. Electroneum has done great in terms of having the very regulatory compliant path that you mentioned, that the designated proof of work, where it's almost like federated, where they choose very specific participants, which is good, very good. I think Zano gives a little bit of a counterpoint, right, for people that prefer a different path to achieve similar goals. I don't think they have the exact same goals, but if people are interested in Electroneum, then they might be interested in Zano based on what it's supposed to do. I don't think it competes directly, but I think that if people get the mission of Electroneum, then when they read the white paper for Zano, they'll get what they're trying to do, which is similar, different though. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, still kind of a long shot. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see what that's all about. Yeah, that would be neat. Yeah, Electroneum. They've done some interesting stuff where you can be inside or outside the KYC. So I can go to KuCoin, buy Electroneum, and then send them to my GUI wallet right on my desktop, because I can actually be, obviously a node on the blockchain to be able to perform my transactions. I just can't mine. But obviously I can send stuff up. But if you send it inside of their KYC ring and send it to the app, you now get the instant payments. You can now top off your telephone, your bill. They're doing electricity, so you can pay electricity. And there's a lot of vendors that are using it to, go back and forth. It's kind of sexy. Do they have something like that at Zenos also? Or is it really just starting to get the ball rolling?
It's really just starting. Yeah, and that's why I characterize it as a bit of a long shot. You asked about stuff that's a long shot. Theirs is a little bit different. Again, I think theirs is kind of meant to be more for commerce, and they're building out a bit of a smart contract ecosystem where it is. I'm gonna butcher it if I try to lay out their full mission here, but it's a bit more of a smart contract system where you have multiple parties that can engage in various commerce contracts. Though I don't think that they have anything, not at all, like the official corporate sponsors and partners that Electroneum has. Electroneum, clearly, their leadership, they focused and hustled very early on to get those relationships, as I recall. It made big news. With Zano, they're kind of more scrappy. I think they're really going for a pure currency play within the cryptocurrency scene. So not too dissimilar.
That's a hard place to be, too.
Yeah.
You got it. And that was one of my other coins, is like Web Dollar and the Meek, which are very similar. They're currency coins, and the Darrow, they're the currency coins, and it's kind of a tough place to earn a position of recognition. because every coin could be used as money, and so there's got to be something there extra that makes it super easy, intuitive, and where there's places to use it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that Electroneum has done really well. They've got places to actually spend it. But I've been mining some Nameek lately. I mine the web dollar. I have no idea. No, Nameek is actually doing pretty well. NIMIQ, they've been actually doing pretty well. Web dollar, I have no idea where it'll end up, but I'm mining it, at that. I do it through my browser, and they moved it to proof of work, stake. Used to be all proof of work. So you just leave your wallet open, and it just sits there and it mines away, and earns coins for you, and you just do it on your browser.
Oh, wow.
Open up your browser and you go to their website. It's really kind of cool. You go to their website, webdollar.io, and it'll create a wallet for you. And if you have 200, you need 200 coins. It'll start proof of stake for you, and you just start earning coins right off the bat. So it's kind of clever. And Nameek is very similar. They browser wallet and super easy. That's the one reason why I started messing with it. I don't know if it was you or the technicals. I had saw it 2 years ago. I think it was the technicals when he was around, and he had found web dollars. I went over there and checked that out. It was pretty clever, and like I said, Nameek is also pretty clever.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Well, I think we pretty much just hit 5 there. We hit a couple that are a little bit older. We hit a couple that are a little bit newer. What are you excited about in crypto right now? Prices kind of going up. That gets everybody excited, right? Regardless of what they're holding. But what's one of the things, or maybe the movements within crypto that you're excited about? I think we both kind of expressed disdain for DeFi because it's weird and nobody really understands it. I think no average person understands it.
Did you see Bruce Fenton's? He did a tweet. He goes, "Let me explain DeFi," and it's like this, and you got some words here and these descriptions, and then there's some stuff, and then there's some money that they're gonna lose, and then there's some cake, and then he has something, and then here's some fire, and there's like a piece of paper burning, and it's like I started laughing my ass off. I'm like, yeah, that's DeFi. Most people don't have a clue. And it just reminds me of the 2017 thing all over again. We're making a coin that's gonna send drones and deliver packages for you. We're gonna make a coin that delivers pizza. We'll have pizza coin, and there were just so many things. And I'm like, it's starting all over again. So this is the one thing that I would throw out. Be very careful. Don't go buying. These people who are farming these coins, they're getting them for free, and they're selling them to you. When they don't have anything to do behind it. Now, true DeFi, you take a loan, so let those guys handle it. The guys who have all that and want to put the $10 million into it, let them play, beat against each other. I wouldn't recommend anybody to get into that if they're not familiar. Don't go buying stuff you don't understand. I saw a tweet, I bought Comp or whatever, or Ample. I bought Ample. It's at $4. I can't wait for it to hit 500. I'm like, you don't know what you bought. And I'm thinking, people. And this is what reminds me of 2017. So that's a big concern that I'm worried about. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if it's because I'm smarter this time around or not, but I'm sticking with Bitcoin. I'm sticking with Ethereum. I've picked 5 basic projects that I like, that I carried. I did have a few Ethereum Classic. I'm hoping that they can get their act together with all the other stuff. And I got a little sprinkles of, some stuff. I've been mining the web dollar. I got like all these coins that I've been mining and just holding on to these little bags. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting, but I don't know if they'll turn out. But I'm going to be honest with you. I probably won't make as much this time around But I'm sticking, with just a few basic coins, and I'm gonna stick with it. And that's my story, and I'm not changing it. I I just seen too many people lose money, and I'll keep my eyes open, and I might, throw $1,000 into something if it looks good or whatever. But I'm staying with the basics. Meatloaf, meat and potatoes and some and some broccoli.
Yeah,
that's all I want. Maybe some salmon. That's it. That's how I see it this time around. I'm not gonna do it.
nice.
I'm not a trader. I'm not a trader, and I'm not going to sit there and track all this stuff. I'm not Crown's Crypto Cave with the hair is on fire, and he's screaming. And that's what the guy does, He's that's who he is. He's a trader, and he's going to talk about it. I don't have time for that. I'm working. I actually have a job, so I put a little bit in. I want to come back 4 years from now and tell me how much money it's worth. Type of thing. What are you doing?
Similarly, I really am kind of going back to fundamentals and pretty much just fundamentals. Technical analysis, people tell me about it. I'm like, I'm unmoved mostly for the most part. Like not entirely, because we're all looking at the same price action, right? If Bitcoin or Ethereum drops, or if Bitcoin or Ethereum goes up a little bit, I'm prepared to take a little bit of profit depending on what kind of moves it makes, or go in by a little bit more, right? Get a new some add to the bag, right? Of some of these basic projects. But I mentioned before, I've got a fairly large amount of Monero in the portfolio. So I am kind of betting on privacy projects. That is for me a big focus, only because we've seen so many lockdowns in the United States and so many other countries. And I'm a law-abiding citizen. I pay my taxes. I'm a big Second Amendment guy, but I'm a big legal Second Amendment guy. I don't advocate anybody go out and get illegal guns or anything. So I'm a fan of the rule of law. I really am. And currently, at least in the United States, the rule of law allows for cash, and it allows for our US dollar to work in cash, in transferable notes that do not bear a history. Right? Sure, they might be serialized, they might have a number on them or whatever, but generally speaking, most people's cash transactions are not being tracked as tightly as the SWIFT system, right? Wire transfers, credit card purchases, whatever else. So I really think that there need to be maybe a couple of projects in the space that similarly that they work on a fundamental level, and they've got momentum, and they're proven over the last several years, which is why I'm kind of big on Monero, and why Zcash has recaptured my attention a little bit with the conditional privacy. I like those two, but I'm really not out trying to speculate all that much. Not a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that either this year. Because I remember the first time, because I got in just before 2017. I'm like, look at all these coins. Look at this. They're going to keep your medical records here. This one here, they're making pencils, and this one here is going to deliver stuff with your. Wow, these are good. And I bought like 50 different coins. And I'm like, look at all these. I got all these great stuff. And it was a nightmare to track and keep up with. I don't do it. Don't do it. You'll learn. The next cycle, you'll learn. Dad, don't do it. And I used to laugh. Well, why do I just want Bitcoin for? I know. You know what? Over the last 4 years, you find that out, and you realize it. You keep some Bitcoin. You keep some Ethereum. Find one or two, maybe 5 projects that you like. So, hey, it's been great. It's been great. I love it. I love it. I used to watch your show years ago.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're one of the guys that kind of got me inspired. And I'm like, if I put a hat on, I kind of look like him. I got the same haircut. I just have to do is throw a hat on and look a little different. And I'm sure I could do it.
Well,
thanks for inspiring.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, if anything, the tables have actually absolutely turned, because I've looked at some of your stuff, and I mentioned it before. I'm totally impressed, man. You got a way cooler intro than I ever had. So way cooler intro and a way cooler hat. And here I am, like, you can tell I even gave up on the hair. I've got nothing on top of my head. Not these days. Yeah. But to just one last little thing, something I'm really excited about right now, moving into this next phase of crypto, is I'm excited for actual merchant adoption. We've had it in the past. We've seen this cycle before. We've had it in the past, and mainstream online vendors have accepted it, and they've They've even issued refunds in it. They've figured out a way to make that work for them in e-commerce. A little more tricky, right, at the point of sale in person to person, like in-person transactions. A little bit more tricky to make crypto, every kind of crypto work. But with things like wrapped Bitcoin, right? So WBTC, RenBTC, stuff that's running on Ethereum that's really high performance, you could probably make that work. You could probably make that work where you're transacting in Bitcoin at the point of sale in person. I'm just really excited to see how commerce works in crypto over the next couple of years.
Yeah. And this is a good point. And here's the problem that you're going to have. The northern countries are used to that plastic credit card. They all got them. Everything's built around it. The infrastructure's in place. So coins that are able to interact with those banks are going to be able to make those things happen. You'll be able to just instantly slide it through. So you got things like Turnio that's got the block card that'll you use your money as you need it. Litecoin just came out with the credit card. I have a feeling that that's going to be the gateway to get things going. The problem that you have on a retailer, I have a manufacturing facility, and the problem that you have is you receive, payment for something, and then it turns around and deep sixes, tomorrow when you go to make the deposit and you got 10% less, or 10% more, but you could have 10% less. You can't have that. Now, if you send your money to Bittrex and you can have it look every minute and it'll automatically sell it for you, you can put it on a thing, which is kind of great if you're a retailer or something. That's fantastic. So that's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue, and until we don't have to convert to fiat, that's how crypto's here to stay. Is when we don't have to, you don't have to sell your crypto. You can just use it. But the fact of the matter is that until this is the only way that it's going to perform, and this is what's going to happen is that the coins that want to be used to be able to be spent or directly are going to need to interact with banks and be regulatory compliant and KYC and AML and all that other good stuff. And there's nothing you're going to do about it. Bitcoin and Ethereum are unique. Right? Bitcoin is the granddaddy, and they'll find a way to make that happen. But that's 1 in 5,000 coins. So every other coin, unless they become regulatory compliant, is not going to be able to interact with the existing bank. And the existing banking system and financing systems are not going to just roll over and play dead. All right, they're gonna grip tighter to make sure that they can. And that's the reason why they're getting into it now, so that they can control the interaction of the funding and how it actually becomes from virtual reality into reality into one of these. All right. They're going to control that step. And so it's, I really think we're going to see more and more loss of privacy on the coins and more interaction with the existing systems until there becomes a point where it's like, well, I can just send you the crypto directly. I don't need to go to the bank. And then that'll happen. That's a lot of the coin. I just click, beep, there you go, and send it out. And, wow.
See, and I think
the guys in Africa doing that.
Exactly. And I think you're exactly right. I think there's going to be a loss of privacy largely in the United States and in Western Europe. But I think this whole development track is going to kind of bifurcate, right? We're going to see a lot of the loss of privacy on the one side, and we're going to see some projects and some people and some influences within government, states like Wyoming, for example, states like Ohio, for example, who have really pushed hard. And they've had people from the crypto community become self-appointed lobbyists. And on the other side, we're going to see this infrastructure build out so that there are people who say, well, yeah, doesn't matter if we're trading dollars or shells. If we all just agree it has value, and so why not Bitcoins? So why not Ethereum? And it is faster and it is more convenient. And depending on if you set up smart contracts, it's maybe even reversible, or you can put it into escrow. We've got all of that infrastructure available to us today. It's ready now. We could use it now. And I know a few websites that within the space, at least, that accept cryptocurrency. we're trying to lead the charge on mineyour.biz right now with some of the merch that we sell there. It's drop ship like stuff, and then we have some other print on demand things as well within merch. So it's not like we're dealing with like supply chain of stuff that is real world, like mission critical. You know, I need 15 pallets worth of something tomorrow because we have to fulfill this other side of something within manufacturing where you have hard deadlines and tight tolerances, right? But within like some of those smaller baby steps towards that time where we can use it, I think we can get the proof of concept going now while the regulatory environment takes those two paths. And Uncle Sam tries to decide like, okay, which way am I going to go? Because he just hasn't figured it out. He's had 10 years to figure it out and he hasn't figured it out. So
I have a clue.
Yeah. So I think if we just get into the habit, people just get into the habit of like, oh, well, you know, I saw something on on eBay Japan and I really liked it. And the seller speaks enough English for me to just hit him up and say, hey, you know what Bitcoin is? I'm going to send you some Bitcoin. It's going to settle faster. Japanese banks are, it's weird. It's weird that in Japan, there's apparently a huge amount of the supply that's owned by the National Bank of Japan, but they've got weird problems there. So you talk to somebody who's from Japan though, and it's like, oh, you can put me back in control of my finance. Yes, I'll take Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash. What crypto do you have? I'll take any of it. Right? Like, so I think there's some people internationally who get it. Southeast Asia, where Zcoin is very popular. Yeah. Man, they have got crypto adoption big time there. They've even tried to do blockchain based voting, which they were, you know, they took some arrows for the rest of us, right? Like they figured out like not a great idea, but they understand that crypto is, seriously, if everybody on Twitter can just please stop talking about blockchain voting, please. Thank you in advance. But as far as like getting some adoption for, I think e-commerce is an easier place to start. In commerce, there is a lot of moving parts, like you're saying, working within the legacy systems, paying the additional, I mean, if you're lucky, under 2%, right, to Visa, MasterCard, et cetera, for your vendor processing. But if you're not lucky, over 3%, right? Every single time you try to accept somebody's money. And, you know, on the receiving end, if you're running a business, could you imagine if a new person came in, like walked into your door, right, to doing the manufacturing and says, you know, I'm an alternative to Visa, MasterCard, and yeah, you have all your other operating costs, overhead, et cetera, but you now owe me 3% also. I mean, if it were legal, you'd punch that person in the face, right? You'd run them out into the street if you could, right? It's like, no, we don't need any more middlemen. This is getting really expensive. So I think that crypto for business owners in particular, when it comes to e-commerce, if you can accept it and you realize like it finally computes, like, yeah, there's volatility, but maybe I made up for it by the fact that I didn't pay Visa 3%. Maybe you did. Maybe as you dollar cost average into that pursuit, maybe the 3% is enough, right, to keep you, to guard you from volatility, or maybe you build in just a tiny bit more. But I really think for me, that's got me excited right now to see if there are more vendors that'll try it. And I'm trying to walk the walk on my website. So we'll see how that turns out, but I'm excited about it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I think when you have an application that has the ability to handle subscriptions, the charge through an API, so it can be added into existing point of sale systems. It can't be you have to buy this crypto point of sale system. It has to integrate into existing systems, and also the ability to do a refund of some type. If you have to have those basic functionalities, and I think a couple of coins are starting to get the idea of all that, and obviously my favorite one does all that too.
Okay, yeah, right. I'm going to have to add it to my payment portal now on the website. All right, accepting electronic.
But those are important. It's not going to be accepted otherwise. So, and you're going to see more and more projects having to go file for FCA compliance. And in the U.S., there hasn't. you just got to find out if you're going to be, if the werewolf SEC is going to jump out and grab your project or not. You don't know. Is it a full moon? Hold on. Yeah, because they grab some projects, they don't grab other projects. They shake down others. I don't know. So, but I guess once, like you said, once they figure it out. But the retail, you've got to have this interaction to be able to interact with governments, retail, and other businesses. A lot of them don't want to touch crypto. Think about it. Who's the coffee company? Starbucks. I'm Starbucks. All right. Do I want to accept Bitcoin directly or this weird cryptocurrency that wants, and take a chance that I'm getting laundered funds or whatever? How do I, why would it's maybe 0.5% of all my sales will be paid with this? Why would I take on this craziness and this obligation and liability for that and then be called into Congress? So they're not going to touch it until it's really solidified. They're just not gonna, and that's the reason why you have so many of these plugins. You can pick all the cryptocurrency, and then you can pay for it with the cryptocurrency, but the vendor selling it's getting paid in cash. This is a third party that's taking on that liability and converting it to cash and paying the retailer in cash. They're not receiving the cryptocurrency. They're getting a cash equivalent payment minus a service fee.
Yeah. I've got I take some issue with some of those services as well. Only because cryptocurrency was supposed to solve all this, man. If you want to set up your own backstop, so to speak, right? Your own fallback and your own pegging to dollar. I mean, and you are accepting Ethereum, for example, then, you developers, right? Write a plugin so that people can put in their own APIs, or rather their credentials, to use the API of an exchange that they are already KYC'd at. So there isn't an additional intermediary trying to peg this stuff. You have quick swap exchanges, and you do have APIs that are available already. So you don't have to have a third party that says like, yeah, we'll set it up for you and make it easy. And now your 3% is gone, just like with Visa again.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. Because if you think about it, you get paid. I can pay the 3% to these characters, or I'll receive this crypto. I send it to Bittrex, which does an auto change. I pay my transaction fee. Now I've got money there. Now I got to try to, how do I get it out of that? I have to have it wired. And so now they're going to hit me with a $50 fee for this. And shit, I'm paying the same amount.
Yeah.
Just give me, just shoot me the crypto directly. Take the water. That's where we need to. That's where it's got to be eventually. Because otherwise, you're going to pay somebody. There's no way around it. I have a feeling.
Yeah,
with the middleman.
I totally agreed. Well, Dino, I know I got to let you go, but man, it's been a lot of fun. Just kind of chatting about a bunch of different crypto projects, and it sounds like I really do need to do a deep dive into Electroneum. I haven't looked at it in a little while, and it sounds like maybe I slept, maybe I blinked too long, so I should take a closer look right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll shoot you some information. It is I think a coin that's overlooked by many, and I think it's undervalued, and that's the reason why I grab I have some, obviously. That's the reason why I grab as many as I can mine. Actually, I mine other coins and I convert them into Electroneum. So, all right. Hey, you're awesome. You're a fantastic person to talk with. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Hopefully we can do it again someday.
Yeah, I really like that. Dino, thanks for this one. Doing it together, guys. Thanks for watching us gab for about an hour. That was a lot of fun.